Since we have a special guest presenter, it would be a bit silly not to ask you, Shona, some questions since you're here. I actually re-listened as well to your previous episode on the train in here. One of our most popular episodes, by the way, as well, in terms of what you said about social media and mental health. And also from the statistics point of view, it was one of our most listened to episodes of the year. So happy days there. But naturally, we both have some questions in the pipeline for you. But Mr. Hockey over there, I'll let him kickstart with his.
You say Mr. Hockey, but you do know I've never played the game.
No, but you are very invested in it.
So first of all, I guess I can't use that word that I've written down, but 2018 was not a good year for you. I guess if you could just reflect on that and how pleased are you now it's over and we're into 2019?
Yeah, a bit of an understatement, 2018 being not a good year. In terms of professional sport for me, it was rubbish. 8th of February, managed to get hit on my head, got picked up a concussion, and that ruled me out for the whole year, missing three major tournaments, Commonwealth Games, which would have been my first Commonwealth Games, Home World Cup, which won't come around in my career ever again, and also the last ever edition of the Champions Trophy. So a really disappointing on a professional level in terms of sport. But it made me realise that sport isn't everything. Your health is super, super important. It opened my eyes to what concussion is all about. I was a bit naive to it, if I was being honest. I just thought it was a bit of a headache and that was that. I didn't realise it could derail you so much from life, and there's a huge variability in concussion, which I think people still need to understand and learn about. Yes, it can be a week thing or it can be a year thing. So yeah, come 12 o'clock on the 31st of December 2018, I was ready to move on, and I did get a little bit emotional actually seeing in the new year, and I thought, let's put this behind me and let's move on. 2019, let's go to bigger and better things, and as cliche as it is, let's have a happy and healthy new year, and that's kind of just what I want.
And you spoke there about the concussion, and as someone who's, as I know we've discussed before, had a few myself, it's so hard that when you're seeing someone else going through the same thing, knowing there's not actually much you can do to help. But there's been a lot of talk in the last couple of years about concussion in sport, but do you think there still needs more to be done in terms of just a general understanding and awareness of how serious it is?
In a short answer, yes. A year ago I was naive to it, and I'm in professional sport, so Joe Blogg's general public will be naive to it. I think it's a really confusing injury to have, so it's difficult for experts, medical teams, etc. to understand. What I think would be really useful for people to try and understand it is to kind of give concussion more of a name than just concussion, and I use this example quite a lot when I try and explain it to people. If you say to me, I've got an ankle injury, well, that could be a tiny little sprain which you need to put some frozen peas on it for 2 days and you're fine, or you could shatter your ankle bone, dislocate something, tear this ligament, and can be out for a year, but you still only say that it's an ankle injury. There's no disparity between what it is, and that's, I think, that happens with concussion. People just say, it's concussion, but there's so many different types of concussion and different systems that you can damage with your concussion, and depending on which ones you damage and the severity of it determines how long it can potentially take. So I think that could be explained to people a little bit more, and just raising awareness of it, and not to just brush it off, because it is dangerous just to brush it off.
From your perspective, and this is mainly from talking to you as well about your own experiences with concussion, how much of a factor is the frustration from your point of view in trying to sort it out? Because it's not an easy thing.
Yeah, that's everything. The frustration and the not knowing, the unknown time frame is one of the major things that gets you as a concussion sufferer, especially as an athlete. You pick up an injury and your first question to the physios or the doctor is, when can I be back? When can I be back? And you just don't know with concussion. Initially my symptoms presented fairly light, like concussion. 2 to 3 weeks, I was kind of told, and that's what my symptoms at the time were presenting. 9-10 months down the line, I'm just about back into full-time training. So the unknown is extremely frustrating, and just not knowing what each day will bring up is extremely frustrating as well.
Yeah, because that always strikes me as one of the main dangers with it, that people rush their recovery because they are so frustrated and want to get back to doing what they love doing.
Yeah, and as a sufferer or someone with concussion, it's on you to explain your symptoms, so you can hide them if you really want to. A lot easier than if you've got a hamstring injury or something. If you've torn it, you're going to walk with a limp, and you can try and hide that, or you won't be able to do certain tests, or you won't be able to do certain exercises. But with concussion, you can hide it a little bit more. So it is the onus on the individual to say what they're feeling and to not hide it, because it is dangerous, and hopefully it wouldn't, but it possibly could come around again, and this time a bit harder.
I sort of don't want to take it away from Shona, but from my own experience, it's hard, it's easy to deny it to yourself as well, because it's internal. You can just pretend it's not going on. So I remember the last one I got at uni, it was actually like a 2-stage concussion. On the Tuesday, I got a knee to the face when a cheer stand went wrong, but I only had headaches, so I was just telling myself, oh, I'm fine, I haven't got concussion again. 2 days later, on the Thursday, I got an elbow to the head, again, entirely accidental. Ended up in hospital, couldn't remember my mum's name, my date of birth. I was all over the show, and that was the moment for me that was like, I need to start taking this seriously. And that was before I'd even done any research on it or anything. But it is that frustration, and I hope you don't mind me saying, but I could see it in that frustration in you as well. I remember we had a train journey back to London together.
Yeah.
You can just sense someone is frustrated. It's hard from the outside, because I knew exactly how you're feeling, and you just don't know what to say to them. So I hope it didn't annoy you too much on that journey.
You just don't know what to do or to say to people. I've had concussion, I know what it's like, but still, with people who have concussion, two of my friends have got it, I struggle to know what to say to them, and I've been there for the last 9-10 months. So for someone that's never had it, it's so tricky. So I think the more awareness, the better. The more things coming out, research, learning about it. It's only better for sport, and also actually just people in general life who suffer with concussions as well.
But moving ahead, looking positively,
Yeah,
2019
move
now,
on.
Onwards.
You're back pretty much in full-time training, and we've got the brand new Pro League starting in, a couple of weeks when the tournament actually kicks off. How excited are you for that?
Yeah, it's a brand new thing for hockey, and it's something that I hope really takes off. The idea was to kind of get rid of games in tournaments that not many people watch, or maybe look a bit rubbish on TV because there's not many people there, and to kind of boost hockey a little bit. It's similar to the UEFA Nations League that's been going on in football. Instead of the meaningless friendlies, they've got this Nations League going, and that's kind of similar what hockey's tried to doing as well. There's 9 teams in both the men's and the women's schedule that will be part of a league. They'll play home and away fixtures, so we'll go to Australia and play them away, and go to New Zealand and play them away, China, play them away, and the idea is to obviously finish as high as you can. I think if you win the league, so you be top 4 playoffs, top 4, win that, then you have automatic qualification for the Olympics. So there's something definitely riding on it, and the higher up you finish, the in brackets easier your Olympic qualification game will be when that comes around. So it's important, there's something on it, and it's exciting as a player to be able to consistently have top quality matches coming around in consistently filled stadiums, which is exciting. So we'll have all our home fixtures, so 8 of them at Lee Valley in London. So get your tickets now, guys. And to go over to other countries and play in full stadiums is exciting.
Speaking of the Olympics, I know you have a question you want to ask about Rio 2016 as well, Alistair.
Yeah. So I listened back to your past episode, and one of the things I suppose that particularly stood out for me was you spoke about the shock once the Olympics had finished and you'd done what you'd done, and obviously you'd been off social media throughout the entire tournament. How did you cope with that level of, I suppose, public attention? And at what point did it become normal, or if it ever has become normal?
Yeah, the period after Rio when we got back was a little bit mad. There was, I think, 1 or 2 days in about a 6-week period where I wasn't doing anything, whether that be a school appearance, a hockey club appearance, a speaking appearance, a charity appearance, an interview, whatever. And that was really strange for me, to be like, whoa, there's a lot of people interested in hockey. And then if you multiply that by, 16, 18, 19 players as well, that's a lot of interest and a lot of people going out to communities and spreading hockey and talking about our journey and stuff. Now, naturally, interest does die down a little bit. So it has definitely calmed down in terms of appearances and things like that. And it's not to say that the interest still isn't there, because I think, looking at ticket sales and stuff for the Hockey World Cup that was last year now, that they were through the roof in terms of actual attendances and applications. But it did get to a stage, I think, in about 2017, mid-year, that I just wanted to stop talking about it and I wanted to look forward. I didn't want to continuously look back and talk about the past, talk about this, talk about that. My mind had switched and I was looking forward. I was training with a new bunch of girls with a new target. We had new competitions coming up. And there was a stage for a bit where I was pretty sick of talking about it.
That's kind of my follow-up question, because I think I've heard from a number of people who keep getting asked about the same thing. It gets a bit annoying when you keep having to hark back and retell the same story over and over and over again, when actually there's other things that are coming along for you.
Yeah, I think that's just the way, I'm certainly wired and a lot of the team are wired. It's great what we did, and yes, of course, you need that time to kind of enjoy it and really relish it, because it was a special thing. Well, it is a special thing. It is amazing. But the way I'm wired is, right, what's next? I don't just want to win once. I want to back it up and win again and again and again. And, don't just, on a personal level, I don't just want to be a good player. I want to be a great player. So that's, I think, why I was then looking forward. What's the next challenge? What are we doing next? What competitions are coming up? What do I need to get selected for? What's my aims? But yeah, it is also important to reflect, and I still reflect now and think, yeah, that was really cool what we did, like really cool, and I should be really proud of what we achieved as a team and a collective unit, and how we went about doing it. And it's something that I'll always be proud of, but it's just not something that I want to be asked about every single day or every week. Yeah,
exactly. I have one last big question, if you like, and obviously you've just become part of the Mintridge Foundation, an organisation we're quite keen on, because we've had Alex Pascon, who was the founder.
Legend.
Thank you. Why was that important for you and obviously a large part of it is about going into schools and helping kids find their way in sport and using sport as that real tool?
Yeah, so Alex approached me a while back, and I knew the name, and I thought, why do I know the name? And she played hockey at a fairly high level. I think I'd played against her a couple of times growing up, and I just thought, when she explained the concept of the organisation, what a fantastic way it was to impact the lives of children. My childhood was full with sport. I learned so much on a sports field, whether that be actual skills of the sport, hand-eye coordination, footwork, fitness, etc., or just social skills, mixing with different people with different backgrounds, dealing with failures, like having to time manage things, because after school it was often full with sports training and I had to fit in homework. So I think it's a really powerful tool to get young people trained almost and given life skills. So Mintridge, what they want, I've pulled it up from the website, is to advance the physical, mental health and well-being of children and young people. Fundamental in life. 3 fundamental pillars in life: to advance the physical education and development of children and young people, in particular by working with schools, colleges, sports clubs, universities, national governing bodies. They're our future. So it was kind of a no-brainer almost for me. I really enjoy working with children. I think their unpredictability is great. Some of the questions that I've had asked in assemblies, it certainly keeps me on my toes. If I'm boring them and talking to them, they'll yawn and they'll show me that they're bored, but also the excitement that they get from seeing things, or when I show them pictures or explain facts or what goes on, it's you can't describe it. It's just something in their eyes that just like light up. And I'm really excited to get on board. They've got some exciting ambassadors who have been doing great things over the last year or two, and going into lots of schools, talking to lots of children, and being there face to face with them rather than reading about it in a textbook. I think we talked about the experience of a mascot. It's something that you remember. Hopefully these kids that will experience the ambassadors going into their schools or clubs or whatever, they'll remember that, and it will be something that sticks in the memory.
Exactly. Unless you have any further big questions.
No, I think Shona's covered everything.
Quick fire question round
Yep.
/ slightly ridiculous question
Do you
round.
want to do 5 each?
Go for it.
Okay, first of all, Thierry Henry or Patrick Vieira?
Thierry Henry. It's a bit more suave. Va-va-voom and all that.
Va-va-voom. Those adverts were great.
Yeah, they were.
Favourite sporting moment?
I don't think I have a favourite one. My earliest one was watching the 2000 Sydney Olympics with Kathy Freeman, home crowd, in that ridiculous suit which she wore. And I just remember watching that thinking, oh my goodness me, she is under so much pressure to win this race. And that's something definitely that is one of the first memories that I have in sport.
Bodyguard or Killing Eve?
I've only watched Bodyguard. I haven't watched Killing Eve. So I'm
Which
gonna
one's
have to
Killing Eve?
Watch it. Box set, BBC,
Yeah.
iPlayer, do it.
Okay, interesting. Sporting hero?
So cliche, but I don't really have one person. There's bits in everybody, or lots of people that inspire me.
Mm-hmm. That's good. We can have a hybrid.
Yeah, almost like a hybrid of things, athletes that have gone through many injuries and still come back, I have a lot of respect and admiration for, because unfortunately I sit in that category. Athletes that have had to kind of overcome personal struggles, whether that be mental health, confidence, form, athletes that can see the bigger picture, know that their sport isn't everything, and can have a good perspective on life, and athletes that are just genuinely good people. Those are the kind of qualities and things that inspire me.
Can't say no to that.
I can think of a few who fit into that. Hit session or a watt bike session?
I'm going to go hit, because I've done so many watt bike sessions that sometimes they can get a bit boring, and I don't tend to do that many hit sessions. So yeah, variety, get some hit involved.
3 songs on your workout playlist?
I just made a new one recently. It's like a 2000 R&B vibe. So I think we've got
nice.
like maybe Chris Brown, Forever on there. Some Nelly. What else was on there? Yeah, that kind of cheesy genre-y.
All on board with that.
Yeah, no, it's good.
I'm not sure I am, but...
What?
you scream R&B vibe to me.
No, I just scream. Love Island or I'm a Celeb?
That's such a tough question. I really enjoyed I'm a Celeb this year, so I'm going to say I'm a Celeb. But I do enjoy watching Love Island as well.
Tea or coffee?
Ooh. Can I say both?
No.
Tea. Coffee. Tea.
That's always the question.
Tea.
It's the hardest one, isn't it?
I think.
Final one from me. Serena Williams or Roger Federer?
I like that they played against each other the other day. I'm going to go with Roger Federer. And you know what has swayed that for me? It's the last year, the outburst from Serena. I don't know why, but
it was a strange moment that I've never
it
seen
was
her behave
strange.
like that before.
And I just think Roger Federer is so unbelievably classy in the way that he plays, his temperament, how he conducts himself, and I mean his records speak for himself as well. And he's got cute kids. Has he got two sets of twins?
Well.
Like,
That's a handful.
Yeah.
Last one from me: night in or night out?
Night in.
With TV.
Night,
I'm a celeb.
Yeah, night in. It used to be night out, but as I'm getting older.
I'm completely night in as well. I'll agree with that.
Night out once a month. I can't do it all the time. And with that, that's the end of the Q&A session. Last feature after this.